Coming up on our true crime documentary, The Last Bath of Her Life, the heartbreaking case of Rod Covlin, a mysterious death, a shattered family, and a shocking twist that led to a life sentence. Join us as we unravel the chilling events surrounding Shele Dane's tragic demise and the relentless pursuit of justice by investigator Deborah Holmes. This is a story you won't want to miss, filled with unexpected turns and a dark truth lurking beneath the surface. We're going to look at another terrible situation with you today. A lady unexpectedly called the New York Police Department one summer day in 2014 and asked to talk with the investigator assigned to the Shele investigation. Deborah Holmes placed the contact, and after learning such startling information, she quickly asked to speak with the detectives. They had anticipated that this unexpected contact would help break the 5-year deadlock of the long-stagnant probe into a devastating loss. It concerned the terrible death of Shele Danes, which had generated a sensation in Manhattan on the eve of the 2010 New Year. Growing up in an Orthodox Jewish community on the West Side, Rod Covlin experienced a lot. Her childhood was influenced by her family's extensive roots in this close-knit area. Shele's passion for learning and academic excellence marked her journey from a happy childhood to a successful adulthood. Her pursuit of knowledge ultimately paid off, as she was able to earn a prestigious degree in asset management and secure a successful career in the Swiss banking industry. Her quick rise in the financial world was accompanied by her adept management of multi-million-dollar client portfolios. Despite having a prosperous career in one of the richest places on earth, Shele experienced a sense of hollowness in 1998. She had a loving family and was financially secure. However, her desire to start her own family and become a mother was never realized. Shele attended a Jewish singles event in February 1998 to change her destiny and assist those who were looking for a partner. She met Rod Covlin, a 26-year-old colleague in the banking industry there. The young couple's shared ambitions for stability and success in life led to several shared hobbies. Their bond was strong and immediate. Despite their noticeable age gap, they complemented one another brilliantly, which led to a quick blossoming of their romance. Rod and Shele were inseparable and spent all of their time together. They chose to be married soon after meeting since their love was that strong. It seemed natural, even if several friends thought Rod and Shele made a premature decision. The happy couple soon added a boy and a girl to their family when they welcomed 2 lovely children. The Covlin family's perfect life was upended on New Year's Eve 2009, when a terrible accident claimed Shele's life. At the beginning of the investigation, the police were confident it was just a strange accident and called it that. 2 cops ending up on their night shift at the Manhattan police station were having coffee early on December 31st and December 31 and talking about their Christmas plans. But at 7:30 a.m., an urgent phone call quickly broke the serene environment. Frantic, Rod Covlin of the Upper West Side told the cops about strange happenings at the home of his ex-wife, Shele Danishevsky. He had discovered her motionless, drowned in blood-stained water in her bathtub. Emergency services hoped Rod could follow the operator's directions over the phone and provide the aid required to save the victim. After removing her from the water, Rod made an effort at CPR. However, it quickly became apparent that there was no way to save her life. Shele was disturbed and her body was cold and still. Rod waited for the police to arrive while covering her with a blanket he discovered in the bedroom. Thus, Manhattan saw a tragic occurrence in Rod Covlin's life on the final day of 2009. The police squad quickly made their way to the scene of the crime. As soon as they arrived, they evaluated the situation and blocked off Manhattan's Central Street. Walking distance from the municipal park, they were welcomed by an opulent home. Given that the Upper West Side was well known for its safety, the officers initially assumed that Shele Danishevsky's death was just another unfortunate instance of self-harm. It was not surprising, considering the approaching holiday, to see toys for the kids strewn all around the apartment when they first entered. The body of the woman, covered with a blanket by her spouse, was lying in the bathroom when they went there. Rod had just taken the body out of the water, based on the bloody tub water and the damp wood floor. There was visible blood coming from a wound on Shele's skull. When the officers surveyed the restroom, they noticed an open cabinet door with a ripped hinge, which raised the possibility that the woman had fallen and ripped the door off while attempting to cling on. When forensic specialists came soon after, they thoroughly examined the scene to rule out any other conceivable explanation for the unfortunate event. Following a thorough examination, they concluded there had been no break-in and no indications of a struggle. Investigators began to lean more and more in the direction of thinking Shele's death was an accident. The case's detective decided to talk to family members. It came out that Shele and Rod's 9-year-old daughter was the first to find her mother's death during their interrogation. The girl was so disturbed and shocked by what she had witnessed that she was able to explain everything to the policeman. That night, it turned out, she had been spending a lot of time in their mother's bed with her younger brother. When her mother didn't appear when she woke up in the middle of the night to go look for her, she discovered the horrific scene in the bathroom. The terrified youngster quickly called her father to ask for assistance. Rod and Shele had recently split up, and he had moved into a new apartment on the same floor of the building. To get to his apartment, one only had to cross the corridor. With a quick call, the girl's father, who lived nearby, came over. He went inside the restroom, removed Shele's body from the water, and dialed 911. The girl's story lined up perfectly with Rod's description, supporting the assumption that her death was an accident. The incident horrified everyone, including Shele's relatives, who were notified by the police. The day following the body's discovery was set aside for the autopsy and forensic investigation. Surprisingly, though, it never happened. When the medical examiner phoned the investigators to begin the examination, he was shocked to hear that the process would not go through, even though it was necessary. The examiner was perplexed as to how this could have occurred, but it turned out that a rabbi from the synagogue Shele often attended had stepped in. He got in touch with the Orthodox Jewish burial organization, which asked the police for permission to enter the scene of the tragedy to fulfill the victim's family's religious obligations. After approval, a crew led by the rabbi showed up at the location. Before Shele's body was buried, they cleaned the bathtub of any blood stains. Before any of the gathered information could reach the police's forensic division, it was all destroyed. The organization moved quickly since, in Orthodox Jewish tradition, autopsies are forbidden because they are perceived as desecrating the body of the deceased. The rabbi of the synagogue put pressure on Shele's family in this instance. The bereaved spouse and family expressed gratitude for the rabbi's support, and they didn't raise any objections despite the incident's accidental nature. Additionally, the family decided not to have an autopsy and to let the burial preparation group handle the funeral planning. Consequently, Shele was buried in a day. Hundreds of people showed over to give their final respects and send the family their sympathies. Later, when her parents learned from the police that clues had been deleted during the bathroom cleaning, questions concerning the official account of Shele's death started to surface. While there was always a chance of a fall in the bathtub, they began to doubt that there would be any fatalities. Their major concern was that their daughter's death was not an accident, even though there was no evidence to support their suspicions. The family decided to engage a private investigator to ascertain whether Shele's death was caused by a fatal fall, because the New York Police Department was unable to conduct a follow-up investigation after the evidence was destroyed. The woman's family engaged a private investigator, who initially went to the deceased's home to talk with the relatives before starting to piece together this strange case. He gathered from their testimonies that Rod and Shele had a far from perfect relationship, and that their marriage had been fraught with difficulties. 2008 saw the pair celebrate their 10th wedding anniversary. However, their happy marriage quickly came to an end. The made-up account claims that after an argument in the evening, anger shoved her mother into the bathroom. The police were able to accuse Rod Covlin of his wife's death because of the strong evidence they had obtained. In November 2015, Rod Covlin was taken into custody. Shele's family was waiting for their daughter's killer to go to trial, but they did not know if they would win. Given that the allegations were circumstantial, a knowledgeable attorney could raise questions in the minds of the jurors. Investigators carried on with their probe, obtaining fresh information and carefully examining each piece of proof. Unquestionable evidence quickly surfaced from an unexpected source. Rod Covlin told a fellow prisoner of his wife's death while he was incarcerated. He mimicked the motion he made to strangle her while he detailed his action in great detail. The CCTV footage that the police had requested matched the autopsy results exactly. This was almost like a confession, direct proof of Rod's guilt. The experiment went on for a full 7 weeks. The jury was then informed of all the horrible schemes Covlin intended to carry out, such as killing his wife, attacking his parents, and framing his kids. The jury needed 2 days to render a decision because they were so horrified by his callous and dishonest behavior. The court convicted Rod Covlin guilty in March 2019 of killing his wife, Shele Danishevsky, who was also his children's mother. Despite the absence of concrete proof, he received a life sentence that would only allow him parole after 25 years. Successful and driven, Shele Covlin aimed for a straightforward family life. But then a vicious, avaricious creature came into her life, taking not just her own, but also the lives of her loved ones and children. As we close this chapter on the heart-wrenching case of Rod Covlin, justice has prevailed, revealing a web of deceit that shattered lives. Subscribe now for more riveting true crime stories, exclusive insights, and updates on cases that captivate the human spirit.